Yesterday I killed a lion. Today I killed Goliath. Tomorrow I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. Yesterday I killed a lion. Today I killed Goliath.
Hello, righteous.
Tomorrow I
Do you really
can do all
believe
things.
that river exists where a man drinks from and is never going to thirst again as we advance towards a more victorious Christian life? Be blessed as you listen.
The way to praise is Jesus.
Happy New Year to you, people of God. Hope you're doing well. The blessings of the Lord abide with you now and forever in the name of Jesus. And I believe you've been enjoying the season. Don't worry, January is going to be extraordinary for you in terms of blessings and provision in the mighty name of Jesus. Okay, so this beautiful year, I perceive strongly the Lord will be having us talk about something peculiar. And what's that? And that's tempting God. That's what I call it, tempting God. I remember Jesus was eating back at the devil when he took him up to the pinnacle of the temple and he told him to jump. And he gave him a word. He said, after all, the Lord said that he will give his angels charge concerning you to keep you in the way, to carry you on their wings so that you don't hit your foot against the stone. And then Jesus gave him this, word we are about to talk about. He said, you should not tempt the Lord your God. Of course, there are several approaches to that particular word, but the meaning of tempting God is that you don't put the Lord on an odd seat. You don't try the Lord. You don't tempt the. If some version says don't tempt the Lord, some says don't try the Lord. Others says don't test the Lord. That's how serious it is. I remember I was in a bus at a particular time. We were traveling with my brethren, and then we got to this place and we were told that robbers were ahead, armed robbers were ahead, and vehicles stopped, and we stopped too. And there was this brother who just shared amidst us that let's go. After all, we have Jesus. I looked at him. I looked at him that, that kind of feeling. I just looked at him like, seriously? The question is, do we have Jesus? Yes, we do. Is he powerful? Yes, he is. But does that mean we should just test him and try him? No, we shouldn't. And that's what God is saying to us at a time like this. It's not as if God isn't powerful. It's not as if he wouldn't, do what he wants to do for us. But there are realities that we must pay attention to. You don't test God. You don't try God. You don't put God into a box. You don't compel God to prove himself when there is no need. When there is no need, you must be able to separate between a time of need and then a time of want. And when the time of need comes, God glorifies himself and God will prove his power. In fact, amazing enough, he does that in a way that pleases him. He does that in a way that only he can, explain. Sometimes he does it the way you feel like it, like that he should defend you and then he defends you, and then sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he has another plan. Sometimes he goes around to just glorify himself. Look at the story of the 3 Hebrew boys. They were clear. Our God is able to do this. But peradventure decides not to go in the route we have in mind, we will yet not bow. The meaning is that they know that sometimes, and look at the way God glorified himself. He allowed them to get into the fire before he expressed himself. You don't just you don't try to prove to somebody that you have God and then you just want to prove a point. No, God is not a toy. God is not your toy. God is powerful, God is awesome, but God is supreme. At the same time, God has a will of his own. He decides to glorify himself the way he wants. Some of you who have experienced the power of God, I'm talking about, you have seen grace manifest through you. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes the healing comes immediately. Sometimes it doesn't come immediately. The person gets home before the healing manifests. Sometimes it doesn't happen immediately. It happens after 5 days. It doesn't mean that God hasn't answered your prayers the time you prayed. But we must learn not to try God. We must learn not to test God. We must learn not to do something absurd in the name of trying to prove, and trying to test God. The fact that God said that is your shepherd and you will not want does not mean you should spend lavishly or spend carelessly. Yeah, I think that's the word. Spend carelessly, spend without appropriate accountability or without caution. You will be in serious trouble. The fact that God said it is His desire that you will be in health and prosper all the way does not mean you should feed carelessly, does not mean you should live a sedentary life, you should live carelessly. No, you have to be intentional about your health. You have to be intentional, you have to be disciplined with your life. That's it. But always remember that there is a time of need. There is a time of need where we find grace, we obtain mercy to be able to help, because there is a time of need. When a time of need comes, you don't need to tell God to manifest. He will manifest. He is Yahweh. He's always there for us. He's our present help in times of need. But be careful not to try to live your life tempting God. It wouldn't pay off. You will pay terribly for it. So take dressing, watch yourself. Don't engage yourself in empty boasts. Don't engage yourself in things that will put you in trouble. Of course, I love that you be a man of faith. I love that you believe a thing and it works out. But at the same time, don't just put God in that box where you make God a magician. No, let a time of need come and then let the Lord glorify Himself. He gives you faith, you declare, and then He makes it work. And sometimes when you even declare, be careful to note that sometimes it doesn't work the way you exactly have it in mind. The story of the children of Israel came to my heart. When you read that place, as at the time they left Egypt and then they were before the Red Sea, and then the army of Pharaoh was behind. And when you read that place, you will see God said, why are you praying unto me? Tell the children of Israel to move forward. You will have felt that the solution of that statement was that maybe Moses should not have prayed unto the Lord. He should not have sought the face of the Lord. He should have just told the children of Israel to just go forward, and then they will have just gone forward and marched into the sea. Hey, I'm not sure if they tried that they were going to survive. No. The fact that God sounded that way didn't mean that He wasn't intending that Moses will ask of him the next step to take. Did you even notice that after Moses had asked and God told him, okay, this is how it's going to be, and Moses commanded as God gave him instruction, the wind came and pushed the sea apart, and then there was an highway made in the middle of the sea. Did you notice that even that miracle took them time? In fact, it took hours, not just minutes. It took hours, a long time for that reality to happen, for that parting of the sea to actually happen. And then the children of Israel went, in between the Red Sea. So I'm saying this to you because you have to learn that this is a time where we have to be led. You have to learn to seek the face of the Lord. You have to be led. Even when you seem to perceive what is in the heart of the Lord, please, it's lovely that you ensure He leads you, He drives you. Ensure that you at least get the methodology, and then you move. All of this I'm saying to you, it has to be by faith, and of course it happens by grace. I think in one of these times we will even talk about grace. The blessings of the Lord be with you now and forever. In the mighty name of Jesus, I pray for you grace to be able to stand tall, to walk well with the Lord. Grace not to tempt the Lord. Grace not to try the Lord, but grace to be abundant, to be robust, to be abundant in your fellowship with the Lord, to be abundant in your intimacy with the Most High, and great will be your testimony now and forever in the name of Jesus. I pray for you sound mind, wisdom, light, life, so that in every way Yahweh will be glorified concerning you. It is well with you. 2026 is an extraordinary year of great blessings and advancement for you and all yours in the mighty name of Jesus. Shalom.